Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with episode 44 of the Snowflake Viewpoint. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope everyone's fit and healthy. Full disclosure, I'm not 100% today. I'm definitely feeling a bit under weather. In case you're wondering what's in my mouth, it's a locket just to kind of help me with my throat. I've been I've only started feeling under the weather literally the last hour and a half or so, guys. Pretty much most of today I've been okay. Um, I am a bit exhausted from events over the weekend, so I am a bit tired in that regard. But I have gotten content done for the next 2 days, and depending on how I feel tomorrow morning, I should be able to record the world's round news, sorry, I'm losing it today, guys, for you guys as well, because I've already got it kind of prepped already, so I just need to get that done. And then I can just, I'm going to be taking it a little bit easy tomorrow. I have got some, like I said, I've got one or two non-YouTube stuff I need to deal with as well. Just before I come to you guys in the chat, it's just another one of those random polls. Which live stream do you enjoy the most? I mean, you can have all of them, but there's the three main ones. I'm not putting PMQ ones in there because even though we're doing one this Wednesday, I'm not going to be doing them every Wednesday. It's just going to be every now and then the TMQ's one. But we'll do. I've got a format and all that kind of set up for it. I didn't really like it too much at first, guys, because I felt maybe I should have paused, give my thoughts, rather than kind of just letting it all go through. But I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes anyway. So who we got in the chat today? Wolfpet is here. Good to see you, Wolfpet. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. One Angry Pagan. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Jow is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for moderating as always. Good to see you. Ruth is here. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Alistair Keir is here as well. Good to see you, Keir. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. 91 Leeds is here as well. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Stephen Banker has just popped in there as well. Good to see you. Oh, just a quick caveat. Yes, there'll be no Discord after chat as well tonight, guys. Obviously, because I'm not feeling 100%. But what I plan to do is I will probably do one on Wednesday for the mental health live stream, which we'll talk a little bit about at the end of the stream. Oh, thank you, Ruth. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I'm just, I don't think I'll have a brandy, but yeah, I'm going to be hitting the bed as soon as this live stream's over, guys. So, but thank you so much for that £5 super chat. It's very nice of you. Cathal, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend as well. So, guys, there's quite a lot to cover. Again, if I've got to lock it in my mouth, so if I'm not, I'll try not to let it get in the way of my talking. Just want to show. Oh, where's it gone? Oh no! Give me that post. Thank you. I don't know why it took away the post. I wanted to show that to you guys before we go to the main articles. So this came in, guys, about 45 minutes ago. Peers inflict fifth defeat on the government over the Rwanda bill. So the peers have inflicted a fifth defeat on the government over its bill to rescue the embattled Rwanda scheme. The amendment would have had the same effect as the previous one, but it amends a different line in the bill. It would mean that Rwanda would be assumed to be a safe country as the government wants, but it would allow the designation to be rebutted by credible evidence presented by two decision makers, including courts and tribunals. It would undermine the government's key aim of blocking the courts and challenging Parliament's decision over whether Rwanda is safe. The result was 260 contents and 169 not contents there. That means that passed with a majority of 91 there. I mean, yeah, just coming back to that, guys, a complete waste of time. They really are on that. It's just ridiculous, the whole Rwanda thing. It's a safe country. Why is it a safe country? Well, we made it a safe country, but it's not actually a safe country. The laws say it's not a safe country, but it's a safe country. It's just a stupid one, guys. Absolutely stupid one. Billy, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Jura, good to see you as well. Hope you guys both had good weekends as well. Thanks for dropping by, guys. Good to see you. Just make sure I haven't missed anyone else in the chat. Now, let's dive right into it. Oh, just one more thing. Apologies if I haven't caught up with your chats in videos lately in YouTube chats. By the way, I will catch up with them tomorrow as well. I've just been going through a lot the last few days, guys. So the first one here, this one, we've got quite a few exclusives actually today, guys. So this one was from yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen this one, but Jeremy Hunt has given over £100,000 to local Tory party in a bid to retain his seat. This seems a bit desperate, doesn't it? Exclusively reveals that the record shows the extent of the Chancellor's donations since 2019, as polling suggests that he is on course to lose at the general election. Oh dear, what a shame that Jeremy Hunt could find himself kicked out. Now, I guess the question is this legal, guys? And by the way, just for those who are coming in, just a caveat, I have got a locket in my mouth if I'm making that. It's just because I'm not feeling 100% great today. Reg, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Plus, we took 15 more Rwandan refugees, says one Angry Pagan. Yes, we did. I'm pretty sure, I think I did that in a Schultz video. I'm pretty sure I did that in a Schultz video. Yeah, I did that in a Schultz video. Yeah. Thanks for reminding us of that. Yeah, Jeremy Hunt. I mean, is this £100,000 gonna make a difference? Is this within the rules? I'm really hoping that this money makes absolutely no difference and he still loses his seat. I really hope so, guys. I actually really hope so. I really despise this man because of the way he ripped the National Healthcare Service apart during his time as Health Secretary. He was incredibly ruthless. He was very rude to a lot of NHS workers around that time as well. So I generally hope he gets kicked. I really hope his constituents get kicked. It's not likely because he is in a safe seat, but this seems like a desperate plea for Jeremy Hunt to not lose his position, not to lose a place in the Houses of Parliament. So Jeremy Hunt's been forced to contribute more than £100,000 of his own money to his constituency Conservative Party to bolster his chances of re-election. Official records show emit warning that he's set to lose his seat. Oh, he is set to lose his seat. Hunt's Goldsman and Ash constituency is a target seat for the Liberal Democrats, and their Salvation poll project that he's on course to become the first Chancellor in modern times to lose at a general election. Wow. Is this actually the real reason where he considered actually stepping away as Chancellor? Because there was those stories, guys. Do you remember those stories about the Chancellor, about him wanting to kind of step away from it? There was those stories. I mean, they've gone away now, but there was those stories. Electoral Commission records show that he has given £105,000 261 to the South West Surrey Conservative Association over the last 5 years. The Chancellor's personal donations to the association under the last three Conservative Prime Ministers stand in stark contrast to the total 4,447 he gifted under the leadership of Theresa May and David Cameron. Yeah, a bit of a... that's a bit different, isn't it, to be fair? Go tactical voting. I hope so. Tactical voting really does play into it. I generally hope so too. I really hope so too. Ben Shaw, good to see you, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. The most recent accounts for Hunt's local association have warned that its balance sheets is at a less than satisfactory level. I wonder why. A note stated that members' annual subscriptions were due to increase this year. Donations to the Chancellors Association were down by almost 50% in 2021. South West Surrey received only 42,693 in donations that year, down from over 8,000 in 2020. A Labour source says, this tells you everything you need to know about the state of the Conservative Party, with the Chancellor seemingly spending more time dishing out personal cheques to prolong his little political career than fixing the economy his government has wrecked. And is on the same day the Chancellor is talking about clamping down on money being wasted, he might want to look at how he is spending some of his own money. God, that's quite bad. Hunt said on Sunday, I hope to be Chancellor after the election. However, the poll in his constituency shows that the Lib Dems are on 35% of the vote, Tories on 29%, Labour on 22%. When local voters were asked to outline the issues that would determine how they would vote, the health and the NHS was top, while 4% said tax was a key issue. Daisy Cooper, the deputy leader of the Liberal Democrats, said, it's no wonder that Jeremy Hunt is on the brink of losing his seat when people across Surrey are furious that they can't get GP appointments, that their hospitals have been left to crumble and water firms are still allowed to pollute their rivers. In the Chancellor's own backyard, food banks' demand is surging after his government failed to get a grip on the cost of living crisis. Liberal Democrats are fired up in Surrey to oust Conservative MPs who have taken people for granted. Well, I mean, probably on a local level, the Lib Dems are like could get some real seats if they really get their policies out. You know, obviously one of the things that I think that has hurt them a little bit is obviously what happened with the whole Ed Davey and the post office stuff. That they are going to keep battering that on and on and on to keep that going. The right-wing media to keep that, to try and bash the Liberal Democrats as much as they possibly can with that, and in the hopes that that will hurt them. But you know, some of the things that Lib Dems are on, obviously on the healthcare. He was the health secretary. Like I said, he was the health secretary. He helped ran it down. We know the history there, and it was incredibly infuriating the way he handled it all. And now, as Chancellor, I was listening to a video where he's earlier. I think it was from No Justice. Despite finding time to do all these recordings, where he wants to do more tax cuts when we are in desperate need of investment in public services, and he's not showing any indication that he wants to invest in public services. And it's just like what? Like, everyone is screaming for more investment in our public services. People want that. They don't want tax cuts. He's desperate to get tax cuts in, guys. He's absolutely desperate for them. Matt, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to quickly have a quick look in the chat before we go to the next article. 100k from his own money. Someone is scared. Yeah, he does seem scared. Not so long back, he said he would be stepping down. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for reminding me, Billy. Yeah, he was stepping down. That was right. That was right. He'll easily make that back in backhanders if someone manages to get re-elected, says Reg. Yeah, he'll find a nice cushy job if he doesn't stay, if he gets kicked anyway. I really hope this isn't legal, says one angry pagan. I'm kind of hoping that too, but but they changed it, didn't they? They made changes, didn't they? So I wouldn't be surprised if it was perfectly legal to do so, though. Duke Vengeance is here. Good to see you, Duke. Hope you're doing well as well. So this next one is another exclusive from The Guardian. There was quite a lot of them over the last few days. This one is less than 20% of levelling up projects completed in England, figures show. The exclusive reveals that plans were either shelved or stalled, despite forming parts of the flagship policy promised at the last election. The levelling up agenda, guys. How's that going? Do we feel like we've levelled up? Do we think, that all this levelling up, that the government have always been talking about, phrases and catchphrases of levelling up, do we feel that we've levelled up? Does Scotland feel that it's levelled up? Do the Conservatives feel that the Conservatives feel that they've levelled up your area, your constituency? Something tells me I don't think they have. Less than 20% of levelling up projects. Less than 20%. It's just a catchphrase. It's not actual intention of actually levelling up. It's just a catchphrase to make people think that, we're going to be getting things done around here, sort of thing. No, it's not. It's not. It's just words. And the thing is that there's a lot of things we hear these days about politicians. They do a lot of talking, and just not enough action. It's one of the greatest frustrations that I really have with this government. I had someone in. I'm not going to name names, but there was a person in one of my videos blaming everything that's going wrong in this country on Labour. They were saying that because it's Labour's fault that Rwanda's not working. It's Labour's fault that councils are out of budget. It's Labour's fault that the NHS is crumbling. And I'm like, look, I'm not a Labour person, but they hadn't been in power for 14 years, bruv. And he's saying, but they're blocking. They were saying that Labour's blocking all the Conservatives' policies. And I'm like, and I literally tried to explain to him that it doesn't, that Conservatives have a majority, so they don't need to worry about Labour. But he's saying, but they're not agreeing with them. Who cares what Labour thinks if they're in opposition? I mean, I've had some dumb comments, but the one where someone's saying that everything is all Labour's fault, I'm like I'm critical of Labour. You guys know that, but you guys know in the chat, I don't think we can blame Labour for the last 14 years of what's happened here, guys. If anything, Labour always abstains. You can say that. We can say that, Stephen Banker. We can say that. Right, so let's read into this. So less than a fifth of the projects approved by Michael Gove to improve towns across England have been completed. The government has admitted in the latest sign of problems facing his levelling up agenda. Levelling up! Responses from Gove's department to Freedom of Information requests showed that fewer than 20% of the projects sanctioned under the £3.6 billion town fund were on track to be finished by the end of February. Fewer than half will have been completed by the next election, even if it is held in November, the figures show. Wow. This data is the latest example of how difficult the Conservatives have found it to meet the promises the party has made at the last election to use post-Brexit freedoms to reduce regional inequalities in England. The Guardian revealed last year that councils were having to scale back or freeze levelling up projects because of the soaring costs, and that Gove's department was handing back nearly £2 billion of housing money after struggling to find projects to spend it on. That infuriated me, that story. I was so angry with that story. You guys remember that story? The story of Gove handing back £2 billion because he's like, I don't know what to spend it on. How about public services? Like, oh my God. They want to level up, but they didn't know what to do with £2 billion. Like, hello? Like, am I... It's just so pathetic. It really is. Jack Shaw, a local government expert who uncovered the figures, said this was a flagship policy priority at the last general election. The expectations on the government to deliver new infrastructure in places that have historically been ignored were high. Inflation and interest rates have prevented some projects from making progress, but the government has failed to respond to those changes and has instead asked places to reduce their ambition. Come the election, current evidence suggests that the government will have failed its pledge to level up communities. I don't think anyone, again, like, no one's going to take that for... They're going to say they've leveled up anything, to be fair. Steve, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks for coming along. Appreciate it. The town's funds was announced immediately after the last election, with the Gove promising it would give uninvested, where I've got the word invented from, towns the much needed funding and support to get going on their long-term plans. The fund was a key plank in its levelling up plan to improve infrastructure outside London and major cities. Projects include a new investment zone around Blackpool Airport, an industry centre in Grimsby, and the regeneration of Bedford train station. How they're all going, by the way. Since then, however, high inflation has eaten into a large part of Gove's budget and made it increasingly difficult to complete building projects. The Guardian reported last year that at least £500 million had been lost from levelling up projects because of the rising costs, with leisure buildings, high streets, museums and public spaces all being hit. Many councils have stalled or reduced their plans as a result of higher costs, with some saying they found it a lengthy and bureaucratic process to get Whitehall officials to approve the alternations to the original plans. A report by Thurrock Council last November showed the authority struggled under pressures because of high inflation. The council was due to spend £22.8 million on improving Timbury town centre, including a new community hub, a youth centre, new cycle paths and a new jetty. In November, local officials warned there had been significant cost price inflation since the plans were submitted, forcing them to review the entire scheme to make sure the councils did not overspend. The report added there had been a significant delay in the confirmation of the business cases due to the need of further reassurances and assessment work on governance by the Levelling Up Department and the commissioners. Figures unearthed by Shaw showed that out of 973 town fund projects, only 154 are due to be complete by the end of February. So there was originally going to be 973 town fund projects, and only 154 are going to be complete by the end of February. By the end of November, that figure will rise to 385, just 40% of the total. And that's not... I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if the general election is in May, which is what many people are predicting, my thought process is that I'm assuming that Labour will allow these town fund projects to carry on if it is going to make a difference to where it is. More than 170 projects are due to finish in March 2026. The official deadline given by Gove for spending all that town fund money. A few are scheduled for completion after the date, but the officials indicate this could be because they were relying on other sources of funding to finish the project. The Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Community said all of the money which was allocated from the town's funds is on track to be spent by March 2026 as planned. With more than 100 projects already complete, the rate at which projects are being completed is entirely consistent with the delivery timeframes we have set out. Hold on a second. They've completely since they've set out. Wait a minute. Hold on, what was it? I'm trying to remember now. Where was that bit? Oh yeah, right there. Only 154 to be completed by the end of February, and rising figures are 385. And then it literally down here it says, we are completely entirely consistent with the delivery timeframe we have set out. Okay. Labour said the problems were a further indication of the issues with ministers in Westminster trying to dictate how local authorities across the country spend their money. Justin Madders, the shadow levelling up minister, saying the Tories' begging bowl approach to levelling up forces leaders to spend time, effort and taxpayer money bidding for uncertain and tight ring-fenced pots of money. This sticky plaster approach won't give local leaders the tools they need to drive growth in their local area and live up to their best potential. Sorry if I'm not on my A game, guys, today, but yeah, I mean, I've had a video obviously over the weekend about obviously how councils are struggling as it is to pay things and that. I have another video dropping on Wednesday, another one with regards to the English councils as well. That's going to be coming up in the next couple of days. If you haven't seen that, seen that original one from the BBC already. But it's crazy to me that we have this story about how they want to level up things, while at the same time we have these councils that are going bankrupt, that can't literally afford to pay for public services. Like, how are you leveling up when you can't even afford to keep basic public services running here? I mean, I'm surely not the one going crazy here. It's just mind-boggling, guys. Absolutely freaking mind-boggling. Just before I come to you guys in the chat, thank you to everyone who's voted so far. 14 votes so far. Which live stream do you enjoy the most? So you can say all of them. Snowflake Corner, Snowflake Watch, Snowflake Viewpoint. 14% Viewpoint, 7% say Snowflake Corner, 79% say you just enjoy all of them. That's great. Appreciate it. I wasn't sure what one to do, guys, so that's why I put that one together. Let me just see what everyone's saying in the chat. Gal says Mr. Hunt buying seats is one heck of an expensive seat. He should have ordered from IKEA. He should have ordered from IKEA. They have some good deals, you know. They have some really good deals. Not so long he said he would be stepping down. Oh yeah, I did say that. Yeah, Billy said that earlier. His seat goes along with his £100,000. No, leave the £100,000 there, and we can put it to good use. I think, rather than him taking it. You know, give it to a charity. Give it to the council, who actually need some money. It still amazes me how seats in Parliament are just bought, and they still call it democracy. Amusing. Why would he even want to stay? Does he think he outlasts one-term Labour? He will move into number 10, says Wolfpet. Yeah, interesting. Stephen Baker says, I think the biggest shock come the general election will be the amount of headway the Greens will get. The way Westminster's going, the Greens could be an unexpected surprise, just saying. You are absolutely right about the Green Party, Stephen. I mean, they took so many council seats. I think the number is like around about, I might be exaggerating, but they've got like, I don't know if it's 700 or 70, but it's a huge amount of council seats they have, the Green Party. They have a huge amount of council seats. They're not getting anywhere near enough attention. Do you know how many council seats that Reform Party have? Do you know how many they have, guys? They have one. Just one. And yet Richard Tice gets on the media all the time. Joe says some policies of Lib Dem which I can agree with, but some in which I wholeheartedly disagree. Same applies to the Labour Party. No, Totally don't blame you for feeling that way. Duke says you're managing. Well, I hope you manage this week all right, Duke. In all seriousness. Giles reminds us all to hit the like button. Yeah, if you can do that, be greatly appreciated. This lot couldn't level up a sprite level. Why shouldn't it be legal? Better having a donor with a shopping list full of demands. I'd have thought, says Wolfpet. Leveling up was a nice slogan for the general election. Yeah, it was. It was, Dura. Government guy catchphrase, says Wolfpet. Matt says unlevel, unequal, true Westminster terms. Says Matt. Heard that one about Labour undermining Brexit. Yep. If anything, Labour's always abstained. Yeah, I've read that one already. Just scrolling down, just making sure I don't miss too much. Last Labour lot were in Hollywood, gave back 1.5 billion to the Treasury, stating that they couldn't afford to spend it in. The last Labour government in Scotland did the same, returned billions to the Treasury because they couldn't think of anything to spend it on. I guess if you don't know what to do with it, I guess so. I just feel like I just don't want it. You just don't want money disappearing or going to waste if it could be helped. There is no plan. There are funds allocated to a project. You have a public contract process, and the constituents make their proposals. Then it's decided, says Joe. Money could have been built in social housing. Yeah, it could have been built in social housing. Good point. Well, I can understand why not relocate the cash to other services that certainly need it, says Jow. Yep, makes sense. The Tories are no really bright, but boy, do they have some brass necks, says Stephen Banker. Yeah. Bidding for money, what kind of nonsense is that, says Billy. If Labour will be better, it will be improvement over the current government for sure. We need a proper PR and UBI, says Joe. Yeah, 100% agree. We do need to have something. We do need to have something like that. Labour will be better, but I'm sceptical, just like a lot of people are about them. Green need all English votes. Well, I'm going to be voting for them at the coming general election because I'm in a Labour stronghold, so that's all right for me anyway. Right, so just going to check up on. Are you okay, Ollie? Because Ollie's not happy because obviously I'm not feeling 100% today. But Ollie's looks like Ollie's all right. Why is the lava lamp? There, it takes a long time for this lava lamp to form, guys. It really does take a long time. But yeah, Ollie and the orb are there, guys. So just wanted to show you guys them because I don't want to forget that one. Right, so this one, guys. Oh, it's been a while since I've done a live stream talking about. I think I've done an article doing one on Brexit. It's been a while, but it's not directly Brexit, but I think it's one to talk about anyway. So it's exclusive from the iNews. So Brexit and partygate blamed as the polls find voters are losing faith in UK democracy here. So Savannah polls find appetite for reform of the UK's democratic systems. So before I just caveat, guys, as we always say about polls, take it with a pinch of salt. Doesn't mean it's what the majority of people want. It's just an indication of what some people are thinking now, that their minds could change later on down the road. Always take that into consideration whenever we look at polls. I think we'll be looking at another poll later as well on that. But Partygate is one that people think that just because the media are not talking about it, just because you're not hearing it a lot on Twitter, doesn't mean that people have not forgotten. Now, yes, some people do forget things, and that is true. But one thing that is very personal to people, regardless of political ideologies, is that when you are someone who didn't get to say goodbye to your loved one, or you were stuck at home, mental health, whatever reasons, you lost your loved one during COVID, whatever the reasons during those times during the COVID, and then you see them partying, it's going to hurt you, and it's going to anger you, and it's going to frustrate you, and it's going to stick in the back of your mind about how you feel about this government. Regardless, politics, policy, all that kind of stuff is like, not out the window. Like, these guys decided to have a party while I couldn't even say goodbye to my loved one before they passed away. That is still something that is in the minds of people. And I'm glad that there are people who have that mindset. Obviously, the other one, Brexit. Well, yeah. How's Brexit going, guys? Have we found any benefits yet? I'm still waiting for the benefits to come through. And and losing faith in UK democracy is not really surprising, really, considering where we are going. People's rights to protest are being ebbed away as time is passing on as well. So there's also that. So these things should not surprise us, to say the least. So Brexit and the partygate scandal are the most likely reasons for disillusionment in the UK's democracy. A polling chief has claimed in the wake of a survey that also found a strong appetite for reform among voters. I've had a lot of reform viewers cross paths with my channel. A lot of them, and I said mainly it's on the immigration stuff, but a lot of them just have this premise of they just had enough. They just had enough of the establishment sort of thing, and they see reform as the alternative. The likes of Richard Tyson, Nigel Farage are speaking their minds. I know the vast majority of us know what we think about. Oh, excuse me. Apologies for that. Of Nigel Farage and Richard Tyson, and lots of the members of the Reform Party, but they're appealing to people. They're appealing to the older voters, the older generation, because a lot of the older generation I've kind of just like, they've just not had enough of the Conservatives. Brexit has been very beneficial for New Zealand. Thanks! I could just see you now, Steve, outside your house, just waving a British flag saying, "Yay, Brexit made my life better here in New Zealand." I just had to say. Yeah, not good for us, yeah. Savannah survey UK voters about the state of UK democracy in the aftermath of the row in Parliament after Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle broke with the President to allow a second Labour amendment to a vote calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. A move interpreted as helping Labour. It did help Labour, let's not beat around the bush on that one. Sir Lindsay maintained he was concerned about growing threats against MPs over the controversial issue. They're adults, they're not kids, they can take care of themselves. They don't need their diapers changed by you, Sir Lindsay. The survey by Savannah, shared exclusively with the eye, asked voters about several democratic processes they thought Parliament was effective or ineffective at doing. It found that, on the whole, 46% of the public think UK democracy has become worse over the past decade, while 17% think it has improved. What on earth is it improved? What on earth is wrong with them? 29% said they were no better or worse. Who are these 17% who thinks democracy has improved? I generally would like to know what their thought process is behind that. And then you find out they're actually quite filthy rich people, or bankers, or people with links to the to Conservative Party donors. You find out that these lot are. While voters mainly believe Parliament did its job in scrutinising laws efficiently, 46% said it was effective. 40% ineffective. They were more evenly split over whether it represented a range of political views, 45% to 44%, and a slight majority, 55%, 42%, though it ineffective at respecting a range of views. More than half, 59%, thought UK Parliament was ineffective at maintaining standards in public life, compared to 31% who thought it was effective, and more than half said it was ineffective at holding the government account, 54% to 36%. Chris Hopkins, director at Santana, suggested that the causes of this disillusionment could go as far back as 2008 expenses scandal. Yeah, that was... we have not forgotten the expenses scandal. How many of us has forgotten the expenses scandal? Actually, no, I'm going to hold my hands up. I have forgotten the expensive scandal. Alright, so this is from Savannah, this source here, guys. So it says here, UK Parliament, to what extent would you say that the UK Parliament is effective or ineffective at doing each of the following? So we have effective in the dark red and ineffective in a bit of a lighter red. So maintaining high standards in public office, 59% ineffective, 31% effective. Holding the government to account, 54% ineffective, 36% think it's effective. I don't know what... yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Being a model for democratic systems across the world. 40% think it's effective, 47% ineffective. Oh, God. Raising issues that would not be otherwise be discussed. 47% ineffective, 39% effective. And I think that's there's certain topics when they're not talking about, to be fair, as well. Respecting a range of views across the political spectrum. That's a lot closer, that one. I tend to think that they do look at a range of spectral views, especially in the House of Parliament, but whether it listen to those views, but whether take on board those views is a question, I think. So 42 to 45 respectively. Representing the UK to the rest of the world, that's dead even, 45% each. Representing a range of views across the political spectrum, 45 to 44. Enacting high quality legislation. Promoting free speech. Effective? Seems like it's the opposite to me. Scrutinising amendment bills before they become law, 46 to 40. It's unlikely the recent going-ons, especially with controversy surrounding the Speaker and the recent ceasefire debate debacle, will have cut through hugely to the public. It's more likely that these poor statistics are a result of partygate, Brexit, and possibly still a hangover from the expensive scandal more than a decade ago which told the eye. That said, the House of Commons procedure does little to improve the feeling that the UK is democratic, and while this I cannot say that word, might endure the mother of all parliaments to a highly engaged politicos, and probably does little to aid accessibility to the masses. The poll of 2,109 adults also showed that young people had a significantly less faith in British democracy, with 64% of staying under 24 saying it would describe the UK as democratic, a significant drop from 74% of the whole population. Interesting. He also indicates a significant appetite for electoral reform, with 52% of the public in favour of bringing in a more proportional system compared to just 13% opposed. Yes, give us that PR. Reform of the House of Lords was favoured by 54% compared to 12% who opposed. Well, that's obvious considering we have no say in what goes on in that house, and considering we give them a shed ton of money to make laws for us, even though we didn't vote them in any way, shape or form. Well, 12% said they did not know, and 22% neither supported nor opposed him, and 51% said they would support devolving more powers to local authorities compared to 15% against. Following the controversy over protests aimed at MPs, 38% said they would support a protest exclusion zone around Parliament, with 21% against. Wow, some people actually generally think there should be an exclusion zone. Oh, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Wow, are we seriously considering an exclusion zone for protesters? That's really bad. I hope not. The House of Commons was most likely to be described as undemocratic among all the UK major institutions, coming ahead of Hollywood, Stormont, the Sedin and London City Hall. The new polling comes after weeks of challenging few weeks for the Commons, which experienced significant disorder amid a vote on Gaza 2 weeks ago. Around 100 MPs have signed a no confidence motion in Sir Lindsay after he broke with the convention. We know about that. Decision sparked anger, yet we know about that. The UK currently uses a first past the post system whereby the candidate with the most overall views in the constituency is elected to be its MP, which means smaller parties are far less likely to enter Parliament. Rigged system. Further support also reinforms how MPs vote in the Commons, with 46% saying that they support removing the party whip system, which requires MPs to vote in line with their party. Much of the discord in the Commons last month over the Gaza ceasefire motion came as Labour attempted to avoid a mass rebellion, yet we know all about that. We don't need to cover that again. We've covered that on a number of occasions. An interesting polling, to say the least. Again, it's just a kind of pinch of salt to take in. I wouldn't take it too seriously, guys, if I'm all absolutely honest. But I would call it a food for thought one. There is what I would say. Just on the polling, before I come to you guys in the chat, 14 votes so far. Which live stream do you enjoy the most? Snowflake Viewpoint, Snowflake Watch, Snowflake Corner, or all of them so far? 79% say all of them on there so far. Universal credit, seriously evil, and still riles me to this day, says Stephen Banker. Yeah, it's a very unfair system. Westminster democracy has been a model for the rest of the world. It's not the system that's wrong, it's the people, says Steve. Interesting. Partygate expenses, tractor corn, VIP, PPE lane, some of the things I haven't forgotten, says Aztakir. Sorry, but Labour did much for my generation growing up. That's why I vote Labour if possible. That does not mean I think Labour is spotless as well. No, that's totally understandable. Totally understandable. If Labour have been good for you, I can understand that point of view for you. Westminster has produced many a millionaires, and none asks how. Improve for 70%. That's a rich, yeah. If I was in the Shire, I would hold my nose and vote Labour as the lesser of two evils, but neither party are offering real change. No, they're not offering real change at all. If the UK loses and wins nothing, how would any of you folks quantify Brexit? Yeah, exactly. This was lit. There would have been one scandal after another. This would have been surprising if some forgot about Partygate. The list is endless. As Wolfpet. Yeah, it is quite a long list of it. Still remember Labour and Tory coalition in Scotland. I won't forget Scottish. I won't forget Scottish Labour Party. Yeah. I just think it's absolutely pathetic that. I generally do think it's absolutely pathetic in Scotland. Like, I don't know Scottish politics, but I think it's really sad that Labour, the Tories, and Lib Dems in Scotland work together to try and undermine the SNP. I just think I just don't get that at all. For me, it's just I don't understand that for me. But I'm on the outside anyway, so I wouldn't know. Number 3, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. The system of democracy in the UK works, but it's utterly an anchorism these days for me. Democracy is PR. It's bad for the worst. There, says Jal. Thank you guys for your comments so far. We are going to take a little break here. We've got 3 more articles to go through, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little one here. An MP, she's talking about a book she's written, guys. A very interesting book. We'll check how Ollie thinks of this book in a moment. But yeah, let's hear what the MP has to say here.
We have a guest in the studio that we have wanted to have in the studio for many months. Welcome to you.
Thank you. I've been wanting to be here for many months, but I've been busy working on my book, Why We Were Right. And I would say, John and Lewis, that if you have any doubts about whether the Conservatives should be in office again, you should read this book. It explains why Brexit was such a good idea, the difference between a party and an essential party, how the Rwanda scheme is compassionate and that it will definitely go ahead. In fact, John, I'll bet you on that.
What on earth were you thinking when you handed over to Isabel Oakeshott those 100,000 plus WhatsApp messages?
Well, I was thinking Isabel is my friend. Isabel cares about the country. Isabel cares about this book. And she leaked Matt Hancock's, but she won't do it to mine. I mean, she hasn't replied to my text yet, but you know, I wrote a book.
You wrote a book for which you handed over these messages, which was an attempt to manage your reputation.
No, it's not my reputation. The government's reputation, which has been smashed by wokies, and Liz Truss leads me to understand trans activists too.
You do seem particularly accident prone.
No, John, I'm human. Not accident prone, human. A human being wrote this book, and a human being can buy this book. It's not available till July because of shipping issues. You know, we just stopped the boats. But you can pre-order it now. So please do that. Join me on the trail for my book, and let's make Britain great again.
Make sure you buy the book, Why We Were Right, by Rosie Holt, the MP. Oh, God. Rosie Holt is very, very good, guys. Very, very, very good. Make sure you check out her YouTube channel. She's only got 8,000 subscribers. That's a shame. She deserves a lot more than that, guys. She deserves a lot more than that. Oh, what's that, Ollie? You enjoyed that one, did you? Oh, you did enjoy that. Oh, okay then. Ollie enjoyed that. So he's a lot happier there. Alistair Keir, thank you so much for that super chat. £10 super chat there. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Fun to make Ollie smile for you for the work you do. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It will really just, for me, guys, I just want to get over that thousand subscriber mark. Whether we'll get there before the anniversary will be. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Remember, guys, just a quick note as well. If you guys were interested at all in becoming a YouTube member, you can do it for as little as 99p, guys. Just 99p really does make a big difference. And you get access to the custom emojis, which you guys can see in the live chat here as well. And also, whenever you comment on any of my videos, as a YouTube member, I will respond to them. I just need to catch up on them at the moment. But I always respond to YouTube members' comments in any of my videos. So I will get round to doing that. Don't you guys worry about that. And obviously, if you are Snowflake Corporal, you get early access to all my content. So you guys would have known today, a lot of content has dropped today for the members, and it will obviously come out to the rest of the public over the next 2 days as well. Right, so this one, guys, we've got is, let me make sure I've got the right one on. This one is from The Independent. That is the right one there. Yeah, this, so Laurence Fox's misogynistic GB News rant about the journalist Ava Evans has broken Ofcom rules. And I'm just thinking, what's taken them so long for them to realise that, yeah, we actually think this has broken the rules? I think this is quite insulting from Ofcom, that they've only just realised, yeah, we think his comments were offensive. Like really? You've only just realised now, Ofcom? I mean, it just shows just how bloody weak they are, guys. They are absolutely bloody weak. It's really, really sad to say the least, guys. It really, really is. So yeah, the media regulator says it has significant concerns about GB News editorial control of its live output. Well, why don't you do something about it? Oh, wait, they won't do anything about it. Anyway, let's read a little bit into this, guys. So, media watchdog Ofcom has ruled that Laurence Fox's misogynistic comments about the female journalist Ava Evans on Dan Wootton's GB News show broke broadcasting rules which protect viewers from offensive content. Nearly 9,000 people complained to Ofcom over the comments made on GB News, which viewers complaining that they were sexist, misogynistic and offensive. In the segment aired on the 26th of September 2023, the former actor and Reclaim Party founder called Miss Evans a little woman, declaring, "Show me a single self-respecting man that would like to climb into bed with that woman ever. Ever who wasn't an incel." I remember watching that clip, and I just saying to myself, like, what the F is wrong with you? Like, seriously. Like, what the F is wrong with you? That's the thing that really angers me. It's just like, how can you say that about somebody? And you say it so blatantly on a public TV as well. Like, to say that about a woman. And it's just like I have a fiance and I love her very much, but Ava is a very, very lovely woman. And to even say that, it's just like dude, you it just makes me think he hasn't had a lot of time with women lately. I think that's what it is, guys. And we don't need to know about it, but we can say that he's had a few shots down, shall we say, with when it comes to women, baby. I'm just gonna go out on a limb there and say that might be the reason why he made the comments he did. Which is a real shame. Not real shame for him. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. Apologies, I've been very busy today, so I've not been able to check out the 2 Davies show, but I hope you guys had a good show as always. So the media regulator said his remarks consistently a high personal attack on Miss Evans and were potentially highly offensive to viewers. Yeah, they were highly offensive to viewers. I kind of find it really, I find this incredibly offensive. That is only taken Ofcom until now to realise, maybe we should say something about these comments that they actually were offensive. It's just really annoying, to say the least. The comments reduced her contribution to a broadcast discussion on mental health in her professional capacity as a political journalist to a judgment on whether she or women like her who publicly express their political opinions were sexually desirable to men. As such, we consider that Mr. Fox's comments were degrading and demeaning to both to Miss Evans and the woman and women generally, and we were clearly and unambiguously misogynistic. Yeah, it was. Just because she's a woman expressing his opinion, he didn't like it. Well, sorry, but women are entitled to their opinion just as much as men are. So deal with it. Mr. Fox and the presenter, Mr. Wootton, who both later apologised, were suspended by the channel after the broadcast. Mr. Fox was later sacked. In a video posted on his social media account in the days following the programme, Mr. Fox said he was so sorry for the way he expressed himself. So sorry that he had to make it look like that he was genuinely sorry. And then when the camera turned off, he was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" I guarantee you that's how he felt after he turned off the camera. He said, "I could have and should have expressed it better. It's not right. It's demeaning to Ravina, so sorry for demeaning you in that way. However angry I'm with you for still doing that, and it demeaned me because it's not representative of who I am." That's nonsense. And here's the thing, let's remember this, yeah? This is really important. When this happened, and I remember listening to the Politics Joe podcast when they talked to her after this as well. He went in no way out of his way to contact her to apologise. He said he did, but he in no way went out of his way to go and apologise to her in any way, shape or form. And I was just like, it's just really, really annoying, to say the least. I'm not saying any of this stuff because I know I'm going to get sacked tomorrow. I'm saying this to clear my own conscience. You don't have a conscience, mate, otherwise you wouldn't have made the comments in the first place. You've said a lot of terrible things in the past. He added, "I expressed my apology to Ava for the language used, but I maintain the sentiment. The media watchdog also found Mr. Wotton's reaction and limited challenge in response and did not mediate the potential for offence. Rather than exaggerate it by contributing to a narrative in which a woman's value was judged by her physical appearance. Ofcom said the circumstances of the case have resulted in significant concerns about GB News' editorial control of its live output. And we are requiring GB News to provide further detailed information about the comparison practices in this area for our consideration, and it requires it attends a meeting of our offices to discuss this." And the media regulator also announced it launched a further investigation into Nigel Farage's programme on the channel on the 17th of January, and Ofcom spokesperson said, "We're investigating whether this programme broke our rules requiring news and current affairs to be presented with due impartiality and preventing politicians from acting as news presenters." It's so annoying. You're just not you don't give a damn. You're not you're just not giving a damn. Come on, just stop. They're weak. Ofcom are so bloody weak. They really, really are, guys. They really, really are. I'm glad we actually have something like that here. Just imagine if we didn't have Ofcom, guys. It would just be an absolute wild, wild west here, just like in America with their media, guys. It really is. Just crazy, absolutely crazy stuff, you guys. Guys, make sure you check out Number 3 and Dave McGuinness's YouTube channels. The links are in the description for both of them. They are here today, guys. If you're not a subscriber to either of them, worth checking out their content, guys. If you're not. Dan Wootton is a Kiwi. I've had the misfortune of working with him many years ago. He was a creepy then, says Steve. Oh my God. I absolutely, really do pity you that you had to work with Dan Wootton. I really do. It's incredibly scary. You don't really know when you see a story like that after you've worked with someone. The stories of him after you work with them, it's quite really does put things in perspective for you, doesn't it? When that happens. Just tuning in from work. No worries, David. No worries. Hope you had a good day. What's that? Everyone's saying hello. The most important things are to get rid of big donors and get rid of lobbyists, says Steve. Only for conservatives or millionaires, says Stephen Banker. Yep. Misinformation and fake news are a crime here. For example, people can issue opinions, but they cannot twist and live over facts. For example, that's Jao talking about Portugal there. But in a PR democracy without failed states, you are correct, he says in referring to Steve McMorrin. If you have a constitution, no, and a democracy based on the law, Supreme Court will make sure all decisions are according to the law there. Yeah. I ask issue opinions. I ask all to issue opinions, but no hostility or bashing. He says, "Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. That's fine." Right, so let's go to the next one, guys. This one is from the Independent. I've got 2 more left to go. So Tory support has hit its lowest levels for more than 40 years. A damning poll shows. The bombshell survey spells electoral oblivion for Mr Sunak's party, leaving the Conservatives 27 points behind Sir Keir Starmer's Labour. Like I said in the other poll, guys, take it with a pinch of salt. It's only just a poll, just an indication of what some people may think. It's not an indication of what all people may think. So always put that in mind. So support for the Conservative Party has plunged to its lowest level since 1978, with just a fifth of British voters now backing Rishi Sunak's party. According to a new poll, the bombshell survey showed the Conservatives as 27 points behind Sir Keir Starmer's Labour Party, which would spell electoral oblivion for Mr Sunak's party if replicated at a general election. The Ipsos poll published on Monday showed Mr Sunak could hold on to as few as 25 seats, 351 fewer than Boris Johnson won in 2019, in what would be a historic defeat. It also predicts Sir Keir could secure as many as 537 seats. I don't know about that many. It sounds a bit exaggerated. 340 more than Jeremy Corbyn managed in the last election, and equating to a landslide which would eclipse Sir Tony Blair's 1997 win. So this is the electoral calculus election predictor using Ipsos data based on new constituency boundaries here. So take this is the national prediction. Labour majority of 424 is what they're predicting here. So 29. So they have the 2019 predicting votes there. So Conservatives 2019 votes 44%, Labour 33%, Lib Dems 18%, Reform 21, 2.1, Greens 2.8, SNP 4.0%, Plaid Cymru 0.5%, other 1.1% there. And seat numbers in the next column. Predicted votes 20% Conservative, 47% for Labour, 9% for Lib Dems, 8% for Reform, 8% for Greens. I generally hope that Greens do get a big number. It's predicting less. They're predicting less for the SNP, but I'm not gonna. It's not my place to comment on Scottish politics. Plaid Cymru 0.6%, others 4.3%. Yeah, a lot of independent. We've definitely had a lot of independent jumps as well. I mean, obviously the George Galloway one. I didn't want to cover the story on George Galloway today, guys. I really did not want to give him any airtime. So it's predicting no gains for the Conservatives there. 342 gains for Labour, 39 gains for the Lib Dems, no gains for Reform. They're predicting 1 gain for the Green Party. I know the Greens are looking to secure 2 more MPs on top of the one they have with Brighton. So they're looking to secure 3 constituencies. I really hope they do. I really hope they do, guys. They're predicting the SNP would lose 30 seats. Well, I'm not going to comment on that again. Plaid Cymru gain 1 seat. A net change of minus 351, plus 340 for Labour, plus 39 for Lib Dems, and no change for Reform, plus 1 for the Greens, and plus 1 for Plaid Cymru there. Interesting, to say the least. The survey showed support for the Tories just 20%, the lowest since 1978 when Ipsos started tracking its polls. Ipsos is a multinational marketing research firm, and the poll is the latest in its monthly independent political monitor. I don't care how reliable a poll is, always take them with a pinch of salt. Comes just weeks after Tory bust up over a series of secretive polls trying to discredit Mr Sunak, including one poll warned of a Tory wipeout unless he was removed as leader. In the latest survey, Labour's support has dropped to 47% from the 49% it had in January. I think that might have something to do with the Gaza ceasefire, perhaps. Meanwhile, the Lib Dems were backed by 9% of the electorate, while support for the Greens and Reform was at 8%, double what it was in January. Ipsos' previously lowest score for the Conservatives was 22%, recorded by John Major in December 1994, and May 1995, only a few years before Sir Tony's election win. A slumping Conservative support follows a series of bad headlines for Mr Sunak at the start of 2024, with confirmation that the UK had entered a recession at the end of last year. Two large by-election defeats in Wellingborough and Kingsworth, and his Labour throwing a row over the comments now suspended Tory MP Lee 30p Flea Anderson. There is also public frustration at the near-record NHS waiting list, which they're not doing nothing about still, and record high net migration, with Mr Sunak failing on 4 of his 5 key pledges to voters, including stop the boats and grow the economy. Ipsos head of political research Geoghegan Skinner, the historical comparisons continue to look ominous for Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives. The Ipsos Political Monitor series started in the late 70s and has never recorded a Conservative vote share this low. He added that individual support for the MP also headed downwards, with Mr Sunak approval rating hitting a negative 54% record low. Yeah, because he's a fucking billionaire. He doesn't know how to fill a car full of petrol. I mean, I don't know how to fill a car full of petrol as well, but I mean, he's the freaking Prime Minister, for crying out loud. He doesn't even know how to use a debit card. By the way, that point is because I don't drive, just for the reference, guys. But I'm sure I could figure it out a lot better than Rishi Sunak, to be fair. I mean, he can't even figure out how to use a debit card. What else can he not figure out, guys? I'm sure there's some things you guys can remember. What's some of the other things that we say? Like something about him with boots, slack jogs as well. Like, there's been some really bad images of Rishi Sunak around as well. Like, he can't be ordinary because of who he is. Like, he can't resonate with people. Like, he's trying really hard to do it. And it's just like, people aren't buying it. Dude, you're a freaking billionaire. You know, we got kids starving. Like, how is there a connection? There's just not a connection whatsoever. And, like, here's the thing. Like, even businesses and whatnot see the writing on the wall. And it's like ordinary people need to be given a slice of cake here. You know, about life. A slice of cake in life. And they've had so much taken away from them. And you're not even giving them. You're not even giving us scraps. Businesses can see there's no point investing in a Conservative Party that's not willing to at least give something back to the people. And they're not even doing that. A further worrying sign for the Conservatives, Labour are now seen as having a lead on which party would be best manage the economy compared with October, when the parties were neck and neck. The public also believe Labour's Rachel Reeves would make the best Chancellor. With just a fifth satisfied with the job Jeremy Hunt is doing. Like, we know Jeremy Hunt is but yeah, I'm not so sure. Rachel Reeves was just like, I'm gonna hold my resentment. Not so sure about that, about Rachel Reeves, considering what we've read and heard about her. It will pile further pressure on the government to come up with an offering in Wednesday's budget, with right-wing Tory clamouring for tax cuts while others want Mr Hunt to ensure better funding for public services. The poll was based on a survey of 1,000 British adults between February 21st and 28. Yeah, it's only 1,000 Britons, guys, so again, don't take it too seriously, I would say. That one. I'm going to end the poll now before I forget. I just want to say thanks everyone for casting that little poll. It wasn't really one. It was only just a little fun one just to put in there, guys, because I like to do some bits of engagement. So we had 15 people voting. Which live stream do you enjoy the most? And 8% said all of them. 13% say they enjoyed this show, the Viewpoint. 6% say, say the Snowflake Corner. 0% Snowflake Watch. But my apologies, guys. Yeah, I've not been feeling well, for those who have come in and didn't know. I've got one more story for you guys. Ollie is there. Very happy. Cookie Monster's here, but it's not really keen to be on camera tonight for some reason. But yeah, the lava lamp's finally coming together. So, yeah. My lava lamp is not as fancy as Alex from Political X's. He's a lot fancy. He's actually a lot more fancier one there. SNP polling says 40 seats, but they may grow higher, says Alice here. Thanks for that. Interesting. I generally feel the Greens as a party that are maturing as a party, and they are definitely ones to watch, just saying. Yeah, they are definitely ones to watch. Absolutely. 100%. Couldn't agree more. They're saying the right things, but they are having some trans issues. The trans issue things that have been having problems, but they are saying the right thing. It's time for a revolution, says number 3. I love the revolution too. I would prefer Angela in her boots, says Jow. Let them eat cake, says number 3. Coalitions work around here. They keep government on check and avoid unilateral decisions. They are not bad, actually. Yeah, coalitions are really good because it forces cooperation between parties. Coalitions, I think, are a good thing. I generally think that would be really good for us as well. It forces politicians to work closely with her. Scottish polling has SNPs on 40 at the moment, says Dave McGuinness. Thanks for that as well. Yeah. Hope the Greens get lots, says Wolfbeck. I hope so too. Will it be an actual landslide or more of a Labour win, but with a lot of other actors like Lib Dems and Greens profiting from it? I don't expect. I don't want to raise the Green Party's expectations too high. I'd like them to get a couple of more seats, like at least 3, if possible. Don't raise too much of your expectations, because the priority that majority of people, especially in the tactical voting, will be to oust the Conservatives. That will be the main priority. But in those Labour stronghold seats that they have, there may be a case that people will vote for Green. There may be those cases. But in terms of tactical voting, many people will be looking to try and will be ousting the Conservatives more than anything. I'll just put that caveat in there. Don't see it. Labour and Tories looking to be competing to dodge the poison chalice. So he is a 5-minute timeout. If he behaves, he can render. No worries. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks for your comments as always, guys. I really appreciate the interaction with you guys. It's really appreciate it. So this last story, guys. This I don't like this headline, but we'll read into it and take it as we go along. So this one's from Byline Times. It's plans to bar politicians from meeting Palestine's solidarity campaigns and climate activists are dangerous and authoritarian, says MPs. If MPs in other countries were barred from meeting civil society groups, the regimes would be condemned and investigated, Dawn Butler told Byline Times. I do get this feeling that politicians, and I've said about this in a few videos, guys, I do feel like there is starting to be more of a gap, more than ever before, between us and politicians and MPs. There are obviously some of the rich and wealthy Conservative MPs, for example, but there are obviously still some MPs in the House who do have a connection to their local area, quite a deep connection to their local area. But even down in that level, I fear that the gap is widening, and the culture war that's being made by the Conservatives, by the right wing, by Reform, that's starting to create this unnecessary attention, and I feel like what's happening in Gaza is helping exacerbate and fuel this even more as well. And I feel like it's playing into the hands of these people. It's pushing us further, dividing us away from our politicians, and I don't like it at all. It really is quite really scary, to say the least, if I'm honest, guys. So let's read a little bit into this then. So government figures are on the brink of launching even more anti-protest measures, with the statement by the Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove into extremists expecting in the coming weeks. It follows an urgent speech by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Friday on extremism. Yeah, that speech was completely... that speech on Friday, guys, I'm just going to say it now. It was pointless. It was a waste of time. It was like either you were going to call an election or you're going to step down. There was no need for all that. Like, and you highlighted George Galloway as well, which I didn't like as well. I'm really angry that they highlighted that he had to highlight that as well. I don't like that he's getting so much media coverage. I know because of his history that they're putting spotlight on him, and I just feel like this is just playing into the whole culture war stuff, because of the fact that he's back in Parliament. I just feel it's all playing into this whole culture war thing, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's worried about all this. Following the election of Workers' MP Party George Galloway in Rochdale, Galloway made opposing the war in Gaza a key plank of his campaign, and his party has been wrongly branded Islamic by the former MP Liz Truss. This is the part where I have to... This is, on this occasion here, this is where I agree with Phil from a different bias is saying. He ran on a campaign on the war in Gaza, right? That was his campaign. What on earth is George Galloway going to do as one MP as the only MP for his party in that house? What on earth is he going to do that's going to change anything? He's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. And people not realise this. I will fight for you. Okay. What are you going to do? I will fight for you. Are you going to stop the bombs dropping in Gaza? I will fight for you. Are you going to be able to do something about this? I will fight for you. This is the thing is, and what is he doing for Rochdale as well? And I heard in his speech he said he's going to make Rochdale great again. I'm just like, are you absolutely serious? Like, there's actually some people in Rochdale have said, because they were so angry that they voted him in. Some people have basically said that you will never see George Galloway in that constituency ever again. And I'm just thinking to myself, why did you people vote for him? Because he speaks for us, because of what's happening over there in Gaza. Okay, but is he really going to make a difference? This is the thing. Like that's the premise there. But all the candidates were pretty crap, to be fair. That's the I know all the candidates were pretty poor, but people fell into that one. And I do think Keir Starmer had a point about, if they had a competent Labour candidate, I think they would have beaten Galloway to it, if I'm honest. But hopefully at the general election he will be gone. Apparently I heard that he's going to be targeting Angela Rayner's seat for some reason. I don't know what all that's about. I haven't read into that, to be fair. According to reports in the Mail and the Times, the government is now planning a review to widen the scope of what constitutes extremism by targeting groups that are perceived as undermining British values. One measure under consideration involves revoking the visa of individuals who disassemble hate speech within the UK, but the report also suggests ministers are barring members of Parliament from affiliating with certain legal groups such as the Palestine Society Campaign or climate campaign groups like Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion. Well, let me put it this way, right? If you're going to stop MPs and members of Parliament from having meetings with these groups, then you can't apply it to certain. If you're not going to allow it with, I don't know the Palestinian Society group campaign, right? I don't know if they support Hamas, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say they probably don't. Okay, but let's say hypothetically right now, as far as I'm aware, they don't support Hamas. Okay, if you're not going to be allowed to have meetings with them, then you can't have meetings with the Jewish community, with Jewish groups either, because it's not fair. Simple as that. Like, you can't have it one way and the other. You're discrediting one community with another community. That's kind of how I'm perceiving this. Why can't we have sit down and reasonable discussions with these campaign groups, with MPs? How are we supposed to, shutting them out is undemocratic. Yes, some of these ideas and that you can hear from them are extreme. But what is this shutting the door without even speaking to them? If you want to de-escalate things, you have to be willing to get into a room and sit with them, and they're not even prepared to do that. As Sakir with a £5 super chat, thank you, really appreciate it. If Govey passes that bill, it's so open-ended it would make the Yes movement criminals. Dave McGuinness talked about it today. They're going to push it through, aren't they? They're going to push it through. This is the opposite of democracy. This is suppression of free speech. We already talk about the suppression of free speech in the form of voter ID. This is just exacerbating it. No, that's what this is. It's suppression of free speech. PSC is known as a vastly weekly pro-Palestinian rallies in London and across the country, but has faced consistent attack from right-wing newspapers for allegedly failing to deal with a handful of anti-Semitic attendees. The proposal to bar MPs working with some protest groups have been put forward by John Woodcock, a former Labour MP and now the government independent advisor on political violence. Woodcock quit the Labour Party in 2018 under Jeremy Corbyn while faced sexual harassment allegations which he strongly denied. Speaking to reporters on Monday, the 4th of March, the PM spokesperson would not comment on individual groups, but did not deny the reports about fresh anti-protest measures. He added, "We will keep under review actions needed to tackle examples of unacceptable behaviour." The move would involve party leaders adopting a strict stance against MPs who support groups involved in so-called disruptive demonstrations. This is shutting out people. This is driving me crazy. This is driving me crazy, guys. This is infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. The Labour Party faces internal pressure regarding its stance on the mooted restrictions, particularly in relation to the Palestine Society Solidarity Campaign. Left-wing MPs in the Socialist Campaign Group SGZ has already hit out at the authoritarian measures and urged Labour leader Keir Starmer to take a stand against them. He will not take a stand against them. He can't. He should, but he won't. We know he won't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I just don't see him doing that. With some members of Keir Starmer's front bench team having told The Guardian Woodcock's suggestions should be vigorously rejected. Responding to the proposals, Labour backbench Dawn Butler told MP told Barlow Times, "The idea of barring MPs from meeting protest groups was authoritarian and highly inappropriate given many of the members may be their constituents." Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. You're denying constituents the right to talk. You're barring them constituents because they're part of a certain group. I mean, they are defining what is and what isn't extreme here, and that's the thing. They're defining what is considered to be a group that is considered to be extreme. I think is what they're trying to do, and I don't think this is right in any way, shape, or form. It's not right in any way, shape, or form that a person who is a member of a certain political group should not have that fundamental right to speak to a politician. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, like, do the KKK in America, are they not allowed to speak to American politicians? Like, is there a law that they can't talk to American politicians? No. Do you know why? Because they have something called free speech. They have something called free speech, so they can do that. But this bill is suppression of free speech, plain and simple. That's what this is. It's dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. This is the Conservatives playing into the whole woke culture, the thing that we've talked about before. This is all woke culture. This is how to stir up the culture war. Distract everyone from everything that's going on. Forget about your cost of living crisis. Forget about your NHS. Forget about immigrants. They'll tie immigrants into all this culture war thing. This is what they want. This is what they want the public to talk about. This is what they want the mainstream media to talk about. This is what they want YouTubers like myself to talk about. They don't want us talking about, like, Shelley down the road, who's struggling to feed her kid in her one-bedroom flat, and barely being able to make pittance for it. They don't want to talk about like Alex in Bradford, who is homeless right now and is trying to get some kind of accommodation and he can't get one. They don't want us talking about the real issues taking place in this country. This is what the campaign is going to be about, woke culture. And the problem is that Labour are going to have to play into it because they can't control the media. They can't control the narrative. That's a big problem here. It's a really, really, really big problem. They're going to play into it, and I'm really worried. I really am concerned. I'm not just concerned about MP safety. I'm concerned about people's safety in general. I really, really am about this as we head towards this general election. The Conservatives are trying systematically trying to deflect attention from their own failures and desperately use this time as time of high tension for electoral gain. To conflate people's democratic rights to protest with extremists is dangerous and irresponsible. The vast majority of protesters are peaceful. They don't march because they've got nothing else. They don't march because they've got nothing else to do. They march because they have something to say, she said. Butler noted that if MPs in other countries were barred by their governments from meeting civil society groups, the regimes would be condemned and investigated. We need to unite against this creeping authoritarianism and stand up for our hard-won democratic rights and freedoms before it's too late. People should ask themselves what else this government has planned that they want to ensure that the public cannot protest. The London Labour MP added other left-wing Labour figures, that also including Clive Lewis, also condemned the proposals. Critics within the party argue that Labour have not adequately addressed the situation in Gaza and warned against the demonstration of pro-Palestinian demonstrators. At a press conference last week, ceasefire protest organisers claimed that Gaza activists have been unfairly demonetised as extremists, as many pro-ceasefire activists are Muslim. Excuse me, my voice is really starting to go, guys. PSC believes some of the fierce criticism of our outrage coverage is driven by Islamophobia. A spokesperson for Extinction Rebellion has said the real threat to democracy comes from a narrow private interest, such as the oil companies and banks, whose access to politicians is unfettered. Our political system should be responsible to the strong warnings from scientists that we are on the verge of pushing our planet into new and inhospitable states. Instead, we see private interest being prioritised about the well-being of security of citizens and everything that lives on this planet. New guidance issued by the government and police chiefs last week means police forces will now consider all protests outside politicians' homes as intimidatory and potential harassment. The PM spokesperson suggested police have until now been managing protests when they should be policing them. The Corbyn backing group Momentum is calling for the Labour government to pledge to repeal the Conservative government's repressive law concerning protests, voter ID and trade unions. It's extremely dangerous. I don't like this at all. I was not aware of this until this article, guys. If I'm honest, I've been off, obviously switched off for the last couple of days on things, as you guys know. It's very concerning, to say the least. I'm just going to scroll up to see what some of you guys are saying in the chat. What difference narrative would have been if we had phones and the internet? Yeah, it's social media allows us to speak and see the truth. If we didn't have social media, they could control the narrative even more easily. Power is tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in the shape of your own choosing. 1984 says number 3. Yes, a guy got arrested for blank paper sign. Yeah, that was in Russia, Moscow. Someone had a blank paper and got arrested in Moscow, I believe. I remember Old Grave is not new. Yeah, it's not. Since people were calling the politicians sons of prostitutes, they were able to do that. The 2000s were so much better than now. The only violence says one angry pagan. The only violence I have witnessed at recent protests involved Tommy's 10 names and the right wing, says Reg. There was a manifestation some years ago against the government of Pastel del Cogillo, and the prostitutes marched with posters saying the prostitutes say we have nothing to do with this government, says Jow. Wolfpack, political violence, wasn't it the Tories who had a meltdown with the lobbyists, with MPs in tears and being pushed and shoved into the whips, resigning during their short-lived Truss government? You nailed it, Wolfpack. Absolutely, absolutely. Bloody hypocrites, aren't they? A few of them are American politicians. The question is not whether the Tories will pass it; it's whether Labour will repeal it, says Steve. That is the question. Yeah, we know where the Tories stand. The actual question is, it's insulting. They're far from extreme. They might blockade arm factories, but that's about it. Just like a robot from 1984. It's not necessarily Galloway that frightens them, it's the fact that people will vote for others rather than the two main parties. Well, unfortunately, that's the reality. People want something different. People are fed up of a two-party system. People want something different. I'm fed up with it. Many of you who are in England or in Wales, they're fed up of the same political parties all the time. We want something different. That's the reality. The reality is we want something different. I'm sick and tired of having to tactically vote to get out the Conservatives, or being forced to choose between red and bloody blue all the time. No. I want more choices. We want more choices. We should be entitled to have more choices. The fact that we have to tactically vote to ensure that the Conservatives are ousted and the vast majority in this in this country have to vote Labour because that's our best chance of changing the country for the better. But they haven't given me renewed hope. They don't give, I'm not very optimistic and hopeful right now, because Keir Starmer has not shown that. He's not shown to me that he's going to give us hope and make me feel like, you know, the future is going to be great. And I try to be a very optimistic. I try to be optimistic, guys. I really try to, but he doesn't give me that. I don't care about the fact that he's boring. I honestly don't care that he's a boring person. I don't care that he's not charismatic. Honestly don't care about that. I just wish he would be more honest with the public, you know, and give people some bloody optimism, because he doesn't give enough, any way, shape or form. He doesn't give enough optimism, Keir Starmer. That's one of my biggest criticisms of him. He needs to give more optimism. He really, really does. They voted for Boris and they knew he was a blatant liar. Boris said he was a liar. So this Galloway novel is actually predictable, says Joe. Edinburgh 2. That's when Big Ear's brother was in town, says Al-Sakir. Thanks for that. Some people wonder why Scotland wants to be independent. I would be up in arms if I was a Scot, especially now. Yeah. I don't blame you guys at all. I really don't. I'd rather just half things run properly. Yeah, I'd rather half things run properly than not run at all at the moment. I'm sick of having to listen to the public school telling how it has to be. Have independent MPs only. I'm sure that will work. We need to heal the divisions. Yeah. I'm poll tax, water privatisation generation. Protest can work. We still have public water. We wouldn't accept privatisation. Yeah. What's happening with the water companies is devastating. I think I ranted about it before, didn't I? Jao says, I like boring politicians, just they're going to about their business and keeping the state and society working. I prefer them like that, not demagogues. Yeah. So guys, we've got one funny video I'm just going to play for you guys, and then I will do the whole outro stuff. I hope you enjoy this one. I'm sure you guys have seen this video already, but yeah, it was so good I wanted to listen to it again, so I hope you guys enjoy. What's that, Larry? What's that? We've got some broken news. Okay, let's tune in to Larry and Paul, guys. Apparently we've got some broken news coming in.
Welcome to Broken News. And election news now, as the competition hots up in the race to become Rupert Murdoch's new assistant and bitch bag. Reports say the turkey-necked, bollock-headed businessman and evil overlord is currently taking meetings with potential candidates, but is undecided on who will run the political arm of his business empire here in the UK, and be his personal weak-willed cuck-slave cum-dump. Our reporter has more.
Yes, millions are set to go to the polls as the UK's election machinery swings into action later this year. The appointment of a new assistant for HRH Rupert Murdoch to work out of his Downing Street office is hotly contested and is known colloquially as a general election. It's all up for grabs, as you say. The sentient tumour and tyrant-loving destroyer of lives says he's yet to decide who to choose as his new underling and scrotal massager. Although we understand he's keen for someone a bit like Tony Blair, but without the charisma or firmly held convictions. But there is some confusion in the UK over what members of the public are voting for. In a survey, Broken News found that many Britons mistakenly think that the electoral system democratically decides the new leader of the country. Fucking idiots. Well, Mr. Murdoch has also been keen to set the record straight, and in a statement to Broken News, the depilated and dilapidated dictator defender said,
"You fucking idiots, just fucking shut the fuck up, yeah? I'll fucking decide who does what. I'll tell them what to fucking do and when to fucking do it, and they better fucking do it or I'll fucking fuck them with my fucking media empire of fuckery."
Back to you.
Fanny, thank you. What a lovely story. Good luck to everyone involved. You'll need it. You'll really need it. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Larry and Paul, guys, with Broken News. Please make sure you go out of your way to check out their YouTube channel, subscribe. Watch their content, guys. They do some absolutely fantastic stuff. And as my voice is about to crack up, because it really is starting to crack up. Thank you everybody for coming along tonight. I really appreciate it. Honestly, hopefully I will feel better tomorrow and the next couple of days. So just a reminder of what's happening. So hopefully, if I don't record World News Round, I might leave it. It depends how my voice goes. That's the only thing I need to record tomorrow, just for reference. We'll see how I feel Wednesday. Wednesday night is not the Snowflake Watch. I'm going to be doing, I suppose, I'm planning to do a mental health live stream, guys. We'll talk about non-political stuff. We'll talk about some really serious stuff. So if you guys have never come to one of my mental health live streams, feel free to come along on Wednesday, 8 o'clock UK time. We'll talk about mental health, talk about some things. Some of you guys who have been here at the start know what it's about. It's a difficult one, but I think it's been several months. The last one we did was back in November, so it's been quite a while since we've done one, so we're going to do one of them. I am planning to do PMQs as well, whether or not I will. We'll see. Whether I'm not going to be doing it every PMQs, so I'll probably skip the next one, but I will be doing this one unless it's obviously really, really good. Then maybe it's going to. We expect it to be fireworks or whatever. Then maybe I'll do it. But yeah, I will do this PMQs, but I'm not going to be planning to do every single one. Just for reference. Thursday, Regan's News Round. Friday, Snowflake's Corner. But if my voice, whatever, cracks up or whatever, I will put a post out immediately on the channel, so you guys, on the community post, so you guys will know what's going on as well. So guys, thank you so much for all your likes. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everyone who's commented in the chat. Yeah, I want to have a great week. Take care and look after yourselves, guys. But just before I do, you can hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or joining me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.